Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about a few things you need to know before you start the Fullstack Web Development course. So what I'm going to be discussing is just a few tools that we're going to be using in order to start developing websites, because you can't code on thin air. So before I start, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Also share the video with friends and family who also might want to learn how to code. And with that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, so the main thing that we web developers need is a browser and a code editor. So the browser is used to run the application, and the code editor is basically where you type your code in and you can make it run too from there. And the browser is where you look at your web developer website. So we're going to be using Google Chrome. It offers lots of extensions and lots of different cool things to developers, such as an inspector tool that's really helpful. Other browsers have it too, but it's not as good as Google Chrome. And one other reason is that Google Chrome is quite the standard between web developers these days. So that's why we're going to be using it. Some other browsers are these: Safari, Firefox, Internet Explorer. Microsoft Edge. We're not going to be using these, and I do not recommend that you use them. Google Chrome should suffice and should be more than enough. So to go and install it, if you haven't already, go to https://google.com/chrome. So in that URL, you see this page should look like this. And what you need to do is just click this download Chrome button. Once you've downloaded it, make sure it works, and that's pretty much it. You've downloaded Chrome. Congratulations. The next thing you need to do is download VS Code. So Visual Studio Code is the most popular code editor out there today. It was created by Microsoft, and it's open source in 2015. I think it was released in late 2015, and I'm not sure, something between 2015 and 16, and we're going to be using it because it offers a lot of facilities that other code editors don't. And probably the biggest highlight of VS Code is the way that you can interact with extensions, and I'll be discussing them more after we install Visual Studio Code. So go to www.code.visualstudio.com/download. You should see the page like this, and what you need to do, just like what we did with Google, how you do with every other download, just click the operating system that you're using, Windows, Linux, or Mac, and once it's installed, make sure it runs properly, and with that out of the way, we can get back to the presentation. So some other code editors out there, JetBrains, WebStorm, Atom.io, they're also good, but we're not going to be using them. Visual Studio Code is more than enough, and as I said before, it's probably the best at what it does because of the way that you can interact with extensions. And I'm going to be showing a quick tutorial of Visual Studio Code right now. So let's get started. Now, when you open Visual Studio Code, you should see something like this. Of course, you're not going to have any recents unless you've already created some files in Visual Studio Code. So you should see this welcome page like this. And as I said before, extensions are the main highlight. So you can see the sidebar right here. You have the File Explorer. You have the search files. This is the source control. So you can once we get to Git and GitHub, you can read the docs if you want to right now. You have to install Git and everything. We'll talk more about this later. This is the debugging tab, and we're not going to be using this because we can't run and debug HTML. So we're not going to be using this at all, and so you can just ignore that. And last of all, but not least for sure, is the Extensions tab. So the Extensions tab, you see right here, search for extensions in the marketplace, and what you can do is just search for whatever extension you want. You can search for it on Google, and you might also see the page on Visual Studio Code's page. So if you want to make your Visual Studio Code look like this, you're going to have to actually install a few extensions, and because that'll give me a chance to show you how to install them, I'm going to do so. So the first thing I'm going to install is Community Material Theme. You can search for it right here, and what you need to do is just click install. The install button should be right here where my three buttons are. And once you've done that, just set color theme. So color theme that I'm using is called Pale Night, and that's pretty much what you need to do. So super quick, super simple, and that's why Visual Studio Code is the editor of many developers' choice. And the last thing I'm going to download is install is something called Material Theme Icons. And yeah, it's this one. Just go ahead and install install Material Theme Icons. I have the same alternative, so I'm just going to be using that. And one thing to note: if your color theme or if this icon theme doesn't appear right away, what you need to do is reload Visual Studio Code. And the reason being that it's not updated the settings yet. So once you restart VS Code, everything should be fine. And so another thing that I use is autosave. Autosave helps me because I always forget to save my files. You don't need to install it or anything. Just go to File. And you should see autosave and check it right away. And what happens is your files save automatically. So you don't need to continually save your files. And once you've done that, what you can do right here, there's quite a few shortcuts. So the way that we're going to be opening our existing projects, you just click Open Folder, and it should open a folder. And I'll be sharing more about that when we reach our HTML section. So that's pretty much it. And one last thing to note: you have the small settings sidebar. You can use this to as a quick shortcut. You can see keyboard shortcuts right here. That's helpful. Then you can set your color theme right away. You can set file icon theme. And one thing to note: there's something called a Zen mode, which is you just see the code editor. That's all you see. There's no bar, so like sidebar and nav bar. So what you do is click Control K Z, and that should open up and it should look like this, which is called Zen mode. To toggle it back, do the exact same thing. Control K Z. That's what Zen mode is. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is how to open up settings. Control comma, command comma, and it should open up settings. You may also have something called Workspace, the Workspace tab right next to User tab. The User tab is what you're going to be using every single time when you open Visual Studio Code. Workspace is just for this workspace if you want to change some settings. And I don't have it right now because I haven't opened any folders or projects. So you can do that. You can experiment around with with Visual Studio Code, and that should be it for Visual Studio Code and browsers. So let's get back to the presentation. The last thing I'm going to talk about is what reference websites are. Last video I mentioned them. This time I'm just going to explain them in more detail. So what reference websites are, they just help you in your code. So whenever you have any problems, you can look at their documentation. MDN, W3 Schools, tons of documentation on different languages. Look these up. You'll see HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and much more on both of these websites. Stack Overflow is a Q&A website where you can ask questions and answer questions once you've signed up. and they have a really cool system for awarding reputation to people so that they prevent wrong answers. So you need to have a certain amount of reputation in order to do a certain task, such as uploading on someone's answer. So what reference websites, they're going to really help you a lot. They should become your next best friend as a web developer, and even as a developer in any field. Look these three up. You should be able to use them once you've signed up for Stack Overflow, MDN, and W3 Schools. You don't need to log in or sign up. So as I said, look these up, and you should be using them daily, actually, once you start developing websites on your own. And that's pretty much it for today. You're ready to start developing websites. Now all that you need to know is how to develop websites. So that's coming up in the next video, Introduction to HTML. Get ready for it. It's coming out day after tomorrow. So subscribe, like the video, and share the video with friends and family. Turn on notifications because we update our channel multiple times a week. And I hope to see you in the next video, and please give us some feedback and comment down below any doubts that you have, or anything in regards to my presentation, and that's pretty much it for now.